Welcome to Broad Strokes, Fortune's show where we talk about the news that matters to women. So Fox News is back in the headlines. The New York Times did an investigation that found that the network and Bill O'Reilly had settled with 5 women who'd accused him of sexual harassment to the tune of about $13 million. And there has been a pushback from sponsors on this who are leaving his show and pulling their ads.
Yeah, I think it's about like 40 plus advertisers have left the show right now.
A lot.
And it's not just advertisers that are, having an issue with what's going on at Fox. The legal community, too, has kind of come out and said 21st Century Fox, which is the parent company of Fox News, should have disclosed these $13 million to investors. I mean, had you disclosed this to your investors, they would be probably in a much better situation. And so I think that, between being able to hide these sorts of expenditures, between arbitration clauses. I mean, these are just huge legal barriers to women coming forward with sexual harassment claims.
Yeah, I think another barrier is the fact that our president has actually commented on this. He said, I think Bill O'Reilly's a great guy. I don't think he should have settled this. So, he is effectively calling these women liars by saying this. And I think if you are a woman who is in a position where you're being harassed at work and you're afraid to come forward because you think you might not be believed, that's exactly the message that you're being sent right now.
Yeah, we talked a lot last week about culture and, whether you can change your culture and how to change your culture. Standing by somebody like Bill O'Reilly, which Fox News is doing right now, is definitely not the way to go. I think that so much has to happen for us to be able to change the cultures at companies like Fox. So another big piece of news this week was Equal Pay Day. So this year it took place on April 4th, and April 4th is a day in 2017 until which the average American woman would have to work to earn as much as an American man did in 2016. This is a very, kind of specific, targeted holiday. It's not quite as broad and as flashy as International Women's Day was, but I also think that perhaps, being so focused is actually a positive thing.
Yeah, I think we see the importance of this holiday in the stories that you saw from people calling the wage gap a myth. There are still people out there that don't believe that this is a problem for women. And what I thought was particularly interesting is this year I saw a bunch of stories that weren't just like, this is how large the pay gap is, this is what causes it. It was, here are practical tips you can use to close your own personal pay gap, to ask for more money, or if you are, an employer or a manager, to make sure that you're not perpetuating this and paying your employees differently. So the final topic I think we should talk about today is the Pepsi ad.
The protesters weren't actually protesting anything. They were holding up signs that said peace and join the conversation, but what conversation? It was not clear. It just kind of, whitewashed and just glossed over kind of the importance of political protest. It made them look fun and easy and lighthearted and not violent, and just generally just offended so many people on so many different levels for that reason.
Yeah, one specific critique was that they were co-opting some of the images from Black Lives Matter. Martin Luther King's daughter actually tweeted that, had her dad handed the police officer a Pepsi, that probably would not have solved the problem. I think there are companies that have made ads that take a political stance and have done it well. This was a huge trend during the Super Bowl ads. And one thing I feel like that helps with that is if you take a stand in your ad and then have an initiative that's tied to it. We've seen this from companies like Unilever, P&G, L'Oreal, where they'll partner with NGOs to actually, work on the cause that they're also using to sell their products.
Yeah, totally.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for Broad Strokes this week. Come back next Friday for another episode on Fortune.com.